I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. Since the Seaview is such a special craft, it seems to get all the easy, cushy jobs.
I should have a visual sighting on your island in about 2 hours.
My island? If you mean that no one else had touched Makora just now, you're right. But someone has to check on the potential danger.
It's too bad that volcano couldn't wait until daylight before it started to blow.
Well, we can't wait either. If the cone is radioactive, it could blanket half the world with its ash.
Like this one. They have a pair of scientists on the island taking readings. They need to find out when it's going to blow, how bad, and if there's anything anybody can do about it.
Dr. Hollis, what's your situation?
I'm on the beach, Admiral. The flying sub's lying just offshore. Witt pushed in about an hour ago to make a preliminary survey of the crater area. From here, it doesn't exactly look like a moonlit South Sea island paradise.
Well, of course it doesn't. It's daytime.
I'm getting increased radiation, rising all the time.
The air samples we took during our flybys were all hot, too. The volcanic ash we collected could almost run the Seaview.
Admiral, I'm going to move in closer so you can hear it for yourself.
Unless it's clicking Morse code, that means nothing to him. He needs the numbers the needle is pointing to.
Wait, you better return. What was that?
That was Witt saying, "Aye, aye, sir." I think he has something in his throat.
Wait. You read me? What's going on out there?
That's a big doggy, except he's supposed to be a wolf. By the time Hollis gets there and chases it away with his pistol, it's too late. He's witless.
Witt. Hang on now. I'll get you out of here. Come on now.
Witt hung on just long enough to do that. Hollis takes some instruments back to the inflatable and rows out to the flying sub. But that hand is really bothering him, and he's starting to feel funny. No, I'm not going to make fun of the werewolf head. Let's see any of us do better in 1966. It gets the point across. That's what matters.
Seaview calling flying sub. We have Makora in sight. We'll surface and anchor off reef. Come in, flying sub.
This is Hollis. Seaview. Get here quick. I don't know how long I can hold out.
Now, correct me if I'm mistaken, but that sounds like he knows what happened to him and he's afraid it's going to happen again. Yes?
I never saw anything like this. The only answer is some kind of a wild animal went berserk in here and killed a pilot.
You say when you found Witt, it was much the same.
Yes. And that strange sound we all heard just before we lost radio contact with Witt. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say it could only have been made by a wolf. But not here, not on an island in the South Pacific.
It was a wolf.
He saw it, he shot at it, and he's sure he hit it, but it didn't even flinch, it just ran away. They need Witt's body and any instruments he had. Sharky puts a party together with the necessary gear and protective clothing. Patterson is helping get it together. He'd like to know what's going on.
How long you been aboard the Seaview?
About 3 years.
That's long enough.
Long enough for what?
To know that you don't ask any questions. Just do as you're told. The Admiral and Skipper got their reasons, and when the time is right, they'll let you know what it's all about.
Sharky, get up to the forward deck with that shore party, on the double. Acknowledge.
This is Sharkey, sir. Acknowledging. What is he exactly in such a hurry about?
How long you been serving aboard the Seaview, Chief?
Patterson is in rare form today. He's busting the chief like that every chance he gets. The party is ashore and Hollis is leading them. Those scratches on his hand are really bothering him, and without warning, he turns around and wanders off. Captain Crane puts Sharkey in charge of the detail and goes to look for Hollis.
Did you have any luck finding the instruments?
Kind of 50-50, sir. This was under a boulder, about as much good to us as a used barbecue pit. But I figure this kind of makes up for it.
The sonar pack.
Yes.
It isn't damaged?
No, sir.
This tape could be invaluable.
That's all we found up there, sir, except that.
Night has fallen. Hollis is himself again, and the Seaview has spotted his signal fire on the beach by their inflatables. Crane and the others just found him.
I wanted to see Whit again, but I just couldn't face it. When it came to the point, I'm sorry, Captain.
I couldn't fault him for that. We all have to deal with such things in our own way. He doesn't need to justify himself to Captain Crane or anybody else. And all that would apply to him if he were telling the truth. But he isn't. He ran because he felt himself changing again. We know that because there's a nice little cliffhanger that takes place while Captain Crane is chasing Hollis. Crane calls for Hollis, the werewolf appears, the wolf appears above him, and fade to commercial. We come back from commercial to get the payoff.
Hollis! Hollis!
The payoff is nothing. Best anybody can tell, he wandered around like that for a while, then changed back and went to the beach for pickup.
The tapes from that sonar pack that Whit was carrying have been analyzed by the computer. They show a very shallow crust on this volcano.
I believe it. I saw enough while I was out there that convinced me that this one's going to blow like Vesuvius.
Let's hope not like Vesuvius, Lee. This one is radioactive. If it blows like Vesuvius, it could cover the Earth with radioactive ash.
I gather that's a bad thing. Admiral Nelson knows what they have to do.
It's the first time for everything. We've got to try to blow out a volcano before it blows itself out.
Blow it out.
Now, you know the way you blow out an oil well fire, only on a much bigger scale.
Oh, that can't be done. A volcano isn't an oil well fire, Admiral.
I know that. But we're hoping the radioactivity inside the volcano will blow itself out if we trigger it with our devices.
Well, what difference does it make if the volcano blows itself or you blow it up?
No, we're not going to blow it up. We're going to blow it in.
They have torpedoes with implosion warheads.
It creates a vacuum by exploding inward. It creates an implosive chain reaction.
Has such a device ever been used in a volcano?
No. But there's nothing we can lose by trying it. By the way, you better have the doctor look at that, huh?
The way he scratches at it, it's probably infected. While he's doing that, the Seaview maneuvers to certain positions around the island and fires the torpedoes. Their warheads are set to fire at 0600. Detonating all of them at once should make the volcano's cone implode with them.
The light will kill most external infections we know about. However, I'm just enough of a horse and buggy medic to believe there's nothing like iodine to get the job done.
Liquid iodine has been used as an antiseptic since the early 1800s. It's very effective, but I'm a little surprised the doctor isn't giving him penicillin or some other antibiotic, since he's had those scratches long enough that whatever creepy crawlies are in there are going to be in his bloodstream by now. Treating it topically won't do much for that. But the doctor has noticed something odd, and he's put a blood sample on a microscope slide. The second slide is from Whit. Whatever that is, Whit passed it to Hollis when he scratched him. He has to report this to the Admiral at once.
Those identical elements. I must confess I've never seen them before. Although there's a family resemblance to the rabies virus.
He has no idea what to make of it or what it means for Hollis.
Okay, Johnson. Dismissed. Got your orders, Patterson. A 4-hour watch on the reactor inside, and nobody's allowed in or out without an okay from me personally.
Okay, Chief. If the skipper and Admiral Nelson want to get in, I'll tell them what you said.
Don't be a wise guy. You know what I mean.
Well, sure I do, Chief. If they want to get in the reactor room, I'll say it's okay because you said it was all right.
As I said, he'd also like to know why they're posting an armed guard on the reactor room. Answer: because Admiral Nelson said so. End of discussion. Soon enough, here comes Hollis. He's desperate to get to the reactor. Patterson is gentle but firm. You can't be in here. Patterson, don't turn your... back on him. He sticks his hand directly into the reactor. Yes, that'll kill the bacteria in the wounds, but the side effects may be a bit much. How drunk was I when I brought that home? It'll take them a moment to figure out where it's coming from, but once they do, they assemble with lots of guns. I have a feeling Nelson knows. He has Sharkey bring a pair of stun guns. That's what Patterson was holding, but the werewolf took it away from him before he could do anything with it. Nelson's hunch was right. They take Hollis and Patterson to sickbay and put Hollis in the restraint ward. Not only do they have a straitjacket and straps on the bed, they have a special cage that they keep the subject in.
The killing on the island, the flying sub, and here in the reactor room. They all took place where radiation exposure was a factor. Now, possibly that's another clue. The radiation reacts on the virus and turned Hollis into what we saw.
And what we'd rather not see again. If radiation triggers it, put him in a protective suit before you lock him up.
I'm sorry, Admiral. I don't know how to cure a werewolf. Incantations and witches' broths were never my strong subjects.
Look, I'm not asking for sorcery. We have a medical clue.
The rabies virus?
Yeah.
If the condition were rabies, Hollis would be terminal. Now. There's no medication known for the symptoms of the disease.
Still, from what we've seen before, our doctor likes a good challenge.
This is really a shot in the dark, Admiral. We'll inject some of Hollis's blood into a lab animal. Hopefully, from a living creature, we may produce a vaccine. And we'll see what happens when it's introduced into Hollis's bloodstream.
Too bad neither of them is paying attention to the patient. He's on the loose again, but that's not the worst of it. When he ripped that shirt, he scratched the Admiral. The thing is, he's not a mindless wild animal. The human is still in there because he knows how to do things like take off a straitjacket, or go to the missile room, eject himself out the escape hatch, and swim to the island. Let's see the wolf on the island do that. especially without opposable thumbs.
I think we've got the wound as sterile as we can get it.
What's your prognosis, Doctor?
I wish I had one.
I'll accept an educated guess.
Well, Admiral, on the assumption that you've been exposed to some mutated form of rabies virus, we may have headed it off with our sterilization procedures. There's no way of knowing for sure. Only by observation.
How about observation of his blood to see if the virus is in it? He found it easily enough in Hollis and Witt's blood, why not the Admiral's? He must have heard me because he takes a slide. The virus is there.
You said there was the possibility of developing a vaccine. Perhaps I used too strong a word when I said possibility. To encourage myself. All right, a prayer then. Just tell me what you need. Well, if we had Hollis here. Well, there's only one place he could be, the island. The crewman who tried to stop him said he went out the escape hatch. Now, what do you need from Hollis? About 50 cc's of blood.
Then let's assemble a team and go get 50 cc's of his blood. And the rest of him, if it's possible. They'll have about 30 minutes on the island to find Hollis, get the blood and him, and get back before the torpedoes go off. In the meantime, Admiral Nelson tells the doctor, lock me up in the restraint area, and no matter what I say, don't let me out. He's doing Odysseus at the Siren Island. The doctor doesn't like it, but he'll follow orders.
Chief?
Sir.
Now keep your eyes open.
If I see anything, I'll sing out.
I bet I know what he'll sing. We get several minutes of the men wandering through the jungle, and it's pure filler, totally meaningless. Eventually, we get to this.
Got a visitor, sir.
We're downwind of him. We'll split up and get around him. No, I don't want to have to shoot. Take a chance of spooking Hollis. Come on.
If that looks like a setup to you, the chase is on.
Now the race is on.
No, the chase is on. Sharky manages to throw it off him and start running. Is that really the only way he could find out of there? He's going to fall down there too, but the other two don't care. They're occupied with each other. I used to have a dog that liked to play like that too. Looks like he and the trainer are having a blast. The growls are added later for those who didn't know. By the time Captain Crane shoots the wolf and it runs away, it's pretty well over. Hollis has changed back and he's dying.
I'm sorry for everything, Captain. I didn't mean to hurt.
Chief! Over here, quick!
It sounds a little ghoulish, but they need to get the blood while he's still alive. With the blood sample, the doctor fashions a vaccine and the Admiral is saved. I guess we're not supposed to ask why he couldn't do that with the Admiral's blood. We all know the answer. We had runtime to fill.
3, 2, 1. Detonation 0600. We did it?
Doctor, how's the Admiral doing? We just administered the vaccine. Hoping for the best. Maybe this will encourage him. Tell him that at 0600, we sank the island of Makura.
And hopefully that crazy sort of rabid wolf with it. We never did find out how it got there or what that virus was that it carried. It's too bad. The doctor probably could have gotten a research paper out of it. Of course, when he explained that it turned a human into a werewolf, readers would conclude that he was out of it, but that's science for you. Previously, we saw Charles Aidman in Kolchak and The Invisible Man. He was a solid character actor who started out studying law. He gave a speech in class one day, and a teacher told him he'd be perfect for a part in a play the college was putting on. He did the play, the acting bug bit him, and he didn't look back. I have a feeling the acting bug was a lot less stressful than that werewolf bug. This was a Monster of the Week episode, and honestly, not a very good one. We got no explanation about the virus, how it worked, where it might have come from. It was just there. The wolf was a prop until the very end, and we never resolved anything about it. Really, if we're going to keep doing monsters, bring back Fluffy. I know he's holding out for a better contract, but just go with it and give him one. Remember, you can pay him in fish.
All I gotta do is breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater.
Hee yodelay what the Hollis sample of butt he stuck him hand. Needle is pointing to achoo!